Hello. A quick audio check. Hello. Hello. Good evening, guys. Thanks for being here. We'll start in the next 2 minutes. In the meanwhile, you can subscribe to our channel. The subscribe button is directly below your video. We do similar webinars regularly, and if you want to be posted about these webinars, get updates about these webinars, please subscribe to our channel. We'll start in another 2 minutes. If you guys have any problem with the audio or something, please report us in the chat box. Right? Hello. Good evening, everyone, guys. Hello. Good evening, everyone. I hope you guys can hear my voice. I'm doing a quick sound check. Can you guys hear my voice? Just reply in the chat box. Right, right. I hope it is it is audible for everyone. So let's get started on this. Before we start, this is the second part of our webinar series on how to prepare for placements. We are giving out 6-month master plans on how to crack verbal ability, quantitative aptitude, and logical reasoning. Right. Last week we started off with quantitative aptitude. That video is available on our Face Prep channel. You guys can look at it after this webinar. This week we are going to have a look at logical reasoning. Now, already I see a lot of questions in the chat box which talk about why is this for 6 months? Why not just do it for 1 month, right? And this is a topic that we have covered last week also. So I would like quickly take you through why we consider it is important for you to prepare for 6 months. The first and the most important change that has happened during the 2017-18 placement season is the national qualifier test. Now, what happened once the national qualifier test introduced was, right, it gave a platform for everyone, people from each and every college to appear for any company, right? Before that, if you were from a very good college already, it was almost guaranteed for you to get into a good company, but it doesn't follow, it doesn't happen like that anymore, right? Now, however, what has happened because of this national qualifier test is there's a lot more companies which are looking to follow the suit, right? From what we understand, IBM, Capgemini are the companies that are going to introduce similar patterns next year, and there are a lot other companies which might follow suit. That's the first point, right? The second point is it is very important as to set your perspective with respect to national qualified test. Do you look at it as a competition or do you look at it as a more opportunity? If I am in your place, I would look at it more as an opportunity, and I'll give you my reason why, right? Earlier, when uh, placements used to happen, right, when companies used to come to colleges and visit, right, they had a certain amount of quota of people that they want to take, right? Now what has happened ever since national qualifier tests have been introduced is there is no more such quota. Companies are free to recruit from any colleges, because earlier, if a company has to continue to come to a college, the training and placement officers, the management kind of pushed companies to take a certain numbers. That is not the case anymore. So that means there is a lot of chance of you just a second, guys. Right. So there's a lot of chance for you guys to get into a good company, right? Now, the other thing, that other major change that national qualifier test has brought about is in the placement schedule, right? The placement schedule will be more advanced than ever. The reason this is going to happen is, so if you kind of look at when Wipro organized it, is that was very late in September, October, November, right? December is when Wipro has organized, declared and organized the test. Now, what has happened was there was a lot of clash with the examinations. A lot of universities were not able to take the test. Hence, what ended up happening is they had to organize different tests at different durations at different places, right? Now this is not going to happen. Companies don't want to repeat that mistake, so that means they're going to organize it more well in advance. So that's another reason. So the placement schedule is going to be advanced from this season, right? The last thing is about using of testing engines, right? So companies are employing testing engines like AMCAT, CoCubes, which have a dedicated content team which is going to churn out content. That means there are a lot more new topics that are going to come up. Hence, it is very important for you to stay on top of the game. Hence, it is important for you to prepare for 6 months rather than just a 1 month or a 2 month preparation, which would have helped you earlier, right? like I said, the recruitment tests are evolving. There are a lot of new question types. Last week we looked at what are the new question types that have come in quant. This week we are also going to look at what are the new question types that are coming in the logical reasoning as well, right? So the takeaway of this entire thing is that it's high time for you to start preparation. The placements are changing, the way companies are recruiting are changing, the overall complexity of the test is increasing. So that means you have to dedicate more time to get through the test. That means you should start your preparation much earlier, right? Now, before we get started with what has happened in the logical reasoning in this season of placements, what is the broad heat map of what topics are covered more, what topics are covered less, let's take a look at quick. These are some of the important topics in logical reasoning, right? So I think most of these topics are self-explanatory. I need not kind of explain to you right now, but what I would highlight down is on something like crypto arithmetic, right? So I'll explain you what crypto arithmetic questions are, right? Crypto arithmetic questions are basic, like are a predominant feature in Infosys test before this year, but from this year it started making entrance in TCS Ninja as well. So the question would be something like this: there would be some A, B, C, D, E, F, right? And they end up giving 2, 3, 5, 2, something like this. So if you add these two numbers, this is the number that we got. Then they'll ask you to find out the values of A, B, C individually. So that test, this sort of questions are called as crypto arithmetic questions, right? Then I'll also look at so again all the other topics are pretty self explanatory. If you have looked at an aptitude once or twice so far, right, you would have figured out most of these topics. But I would like to look at is the rebus puzzles, right? So rebus puzzles or image interpretation questions are something like image, right? So that image would represent a common name, right? Or they would ask you questions based on this image. You have to pick up visual clues and answer the question, right? So that is the rebus puzzles, right? We are going to look at more questions in this regard a bit later, right? So let's take a look at highlights. What did we learn from the 2017-18 logical reasoning, sorry, not 2017, 2018-19, right? This season placements were, what did we learn, right? So the first thing, right? So the topics that are a common feature in almost every recruitment test, right? Before I start on this, we have looked at around 50 recruitment tests, different companies, 50 different companies recruitment test, and I have come up with these insights. So these insights are something that are noteworthy, right? Now the first point is that the topics, these are the topics that are a common feature in almost every recruitment test. Every company that has recruited has these topics, right? Attention to detail, data interpretation, data sufficiency, data arrangements, blood relations. These are almost there in every company's recruitment test, right? Now, image interpretation questions, this is something that we were discussing earlier. Image interpretation questions, especially rebus puzzles, right? These came for the first time this time in the TCS digital test, right? Then the next thing is about visual reasoning. Visual reasoning. So we have looked at visual reasoning. Apart from Accenture, there is just one other company in which visual reasoning came, but Accenture across all patterns. So Accenture conducts the exam through VBox, CoCubes. So the different test engines which conduct this test, and visual reasoning came as part of all of these sections, right? Now, the other thing is about the crypto arithmetic questions. Crypto arithmetic questions earlier, like I said, was only part of Infosys, right? But from this year they started making entrance in the TCS Ninja as well. TCS Ninja also had crypto arithmetic questions, but not as much frequency as it had in Infosys. And lastly, Infosys had a heavy focus on logical reasoning questions this year, right? Now, so this is about the highlights, right? Now let's take a look at a topic wise heat map. So what a heat map gives you is the frequency in which the questions have occurred, the highest frequency. So we'll divide the entire topics frequency wise, right? So these are the high frequency questions, right? Coding, decoding, series, odd man out, analogies, data arrangement, blood relations, data interpretation, data sufficiency. These are are the topics which are commonly repeated in every recruitment exam. Not commonly repeated in every recruitment exam, but these are the highest frequency questions. That means these questions occur more number of times, right? In whatever exam they appeared, the frequency was high. That means these are the topics that you should give more importance to while preparing, right? Now, and these are medium frequency questions. So what are the topics we can look at? Visual reasoning, Venn diagrams, attention to detail, logical connectiveness. Now what is interesting among this set is this attention to detail, right? In the last slide we discussed that in all exams attention to detail questions were present. Almost all recruitment papers, attention to detail questions were there, but uh, but the number of frequency it falls under medium. Why is that? That means in the exams that it appeared, there were less number of questions with respect to attention to detail. That means in every exam there were just 1 to 2 questions or just slightly more than that. So attention to detail came in every recruitment test, but the number of questions that came per test is very less, right? Then other questions: clocks and calendars, direction sense, cubes, crypto arithmetic, image interpretation. Like I said, crypto arithmetic questions were only specific to Infosys until last year, right? But this year it started coming in TCS digital as well. Similarly, image interpretation, the first time they came this year in the TCS Ninja exams, right? Now, so this heat map gives you a analysis of what order of their frequency. Now let's try to look at the same this thing company wise. How are each company? What sort of question each company is, right? Now, so what this should give is this particular slide, or this next 2-3 slides should give you an idea is about, suppose you're preparing for this company, how should you go about preparation? What are the topics that you need to cover, right? If my focus is heavily on TCS Ninja, right, then I would have to cover a lot of what we say different topics like coding, decoding, all the topics you need to cover. But if my focus is on something like Wipro, right, my plan would be to prepare, right, more of these, right? I'll prepare more of these topics and less of these topics. So I can focus lesser on these topics, right, and more on these topics, right? So that's the idea. So the next 2-3 slides where we look at various companies topics, it is about understanding the frequency of repetition within each company. It is to give you a flavor of how to prepare for each of these companies, right? So like I said, in TCS Ninja, a lot of topics were covered. Like you see, there are a lot of topics covered, but the questions from each of the topics were less, right? If you look at Infosys had like I said, Infosys had a lot of focus on logical reasoning, and you can rightly see that these are the particular topics where the questions are frequently repeated: data arrangement, blood relations, crypto arithmetic. If you are preparing for an Infosys exam, you shouldn't enter the exam room without preparing crypto arithmetic questions. Venn diagrams, data interpretation, and data sufficiency, right? Then under medium frequency of coding, decoding, series, right, these are the questions, right? What would be very interesting to see within these also is which of these companies patterns are very similar, right? So so again, if you look at Cognizant, coding, decoding, series, odd man out, analogy, these are commonly asked questions within Cognizant, right? Accenture, like I said, has different patterns. So if you're preparing for an Accenture exam, you need to understand from your training and placement officer or from your college as to which test engine is conducting your exam. So there is a test engine called VBox, Merit Track, CoCube. These three majorly organized Accenture tests in campus, right? Based on that, it repeats. But what we need to remember when you're preparing for an Accenture test is visual reasoning. Visual reasoning is a common. So it came under high frequency in VBox, low frequency in Merit Track, and low frequency in CoCubes. But visual reasoning is a special feature within Accenture itself, right? Then you can look at IBM. So IBM, you only have to prepare these few topics and that's it, you're done. There are almost all the questions are being asked for only these topics, right? The other interesting that I want to show you was around this, right? So look at Capgemini, Hexaware, and probably Mu Sigma. The So if you handle just these topics, you'll be able to crack about three of these entrance tests, this and this, right? They have a similar pattern, right? I see a few of you are asking about the presentation, that they want the presentation to be shared, right? There's a type form which is given just in the description. Just fill up this that form and we'll send you the presentation. We understand that there is a lot of factual information and it is much important for you to have this as a reference. So please enter your details within the form given below and we'll share you the presentation, right? So this is about the analysis on how various logical reasoning topics are appearing in each of these companies, right? Now finally, let's take a look at what are the new topics that were covered this year with respect to logical reasoning, right? The first thing, the question that appeared in this year and almost in all the entrance tests, we don't know why this happened, but suddenly every entrance test started asking details on attention to detail, right? Attention to detail kind of question. The next thing is about image interpretation. Image interpretation, it's a new topic, but again it predominantly was in TCS digital with respect to the rebus puzzles, right? Now, since there are these two new topics, just for you to give you a reference as to how to prepare for this, right? We have picked up a few questions from this year's papers, right? Just to show you how it is, right? So also, guys, if you're looking to start your preparation and you're looking at what books to buy, what material to have, you need not spend your money on all that. We have all the resources available on faceprep.in website, right? Under placement, we have something called as Aptipedia and Procoder sections. You can find those tabs on our website, and there are, like, I think at least more than 10,000 questions which are available for you to practice for free. These are all the questions that came in the previous exams. So just in case you're looking for a source to preparation, that can be there, right? Before you go ahead and buy books and buy stuff, that is something that you could look at, right? So yeah, coming back to this, so the first type of it is attention to detail. So if you can look at it, this is a question where yeah, they gave some number on the clock and they asked what is the next number, right? We are not going to solve this per se. I'm just trying to give you these questions for your reference, right? Then also you can look at this question. For example, they just gave you an image and ask you how many people are staying at this campsite. You have to look at visual clues to identify this. So for example, you can look at the number of spoons, number of plates that are given, and here there's an on-duty chart which has like what, 4 numbers. So you can tick the answer as 4, right? So this is what we say, these are some things that you could look at. So this is the type of question that is given in attention to detail, right? And the next type of question is under image interpretation. So image interpretation, the major sort of question that came is the rebus puzzle, right? Now what does a rebus puzzle say? A rebus puzzle is a picture representation of a name, work, or phrase. Each rebus puzzle box below portrays a common word or phrase. Can you guess it? So basically they'll represent a word or a name or a phrase just like this, right? And you need to understand, right? Ball is this. So based on this image, you'll have some certain options. You need to fill out what does that option mean, right? Or what does that picture represent? So those are rebus puzzles, right? Right, now coming to the core part or the main part of which of this presentation, that is about how do we prepare, right? How do we prepare an action plan for preparing for quantitative aptitude, right? I've given you this is a plan that we have in mind. Obviously you can pick up the plan that is of your convenience. You can make your plan of your convenience, but this can act as a framework in that scenario, right? Everybody has their own approach, so we can't exactly suggest you as to how to go about it, but this will give you a framework on how to make that plan efficiently, right? So if I am in your scenario, I am preparing for placements, right? Now this is how I would go about it, right? The first 2 weeks I would go about solving a lot of papers, solving a lot of questions, solving a lot of previous year's papers, right? What I want to understand is this very simple thing: what are my strengths, what are my weakness, right? Now if like I said, if I am in your scenario, I would prepare I'll take a lot of this test, right? Prepare a small Excel sheet or something where I will write topic names, right? Each topic name, and in test one, how much did I score, how much percentage marks I would score out of this, how much percentage I score out of this. Then you calculate an average, right? Then you'll know which topics you need to focus on first, which topics you have to focus on next, right? And then you can prepare your importance list, right? This is a very important step, guys. Don't go blindly preparing all the topics. What ends up happening is you might start with something which is very easy, and this is a common thing that happens. I think if you have prepared for any exam so far, you'd relate to this. You start out with the very simple topics first, you focus on it, you get perfect at it, but once you come closer to the exam, there are way too many topics that you have to cover in way less time, and you end up making mistakes. So don't do that, right? So first, this 2 weeks spend on solving lot of papers, lot of questions, right? And each of these test papers, try seeing how many marks you scored. Now again, the obvious question would be, where should we solve this question from, how should we solve this question from, right? Like I said, use our website faceprep.in. You have a lot of free practice resources there. You have previous TCS papers, various companies papers that you could use, right? From there, what would be my next step is a propel phase, or a phase where you are you're going to strengthen your basics. The idea is strengthening your basics, right? Now here I have listed down a 3-step process. This is a 3-step signature process we teach any student at Face Prep, right? I want you guys also to use that pattern when you are kind of solving like approaching a logical reasoning section, right? Any logical reasoning question you can solve using 3 simple steps, right? The first step, right, and this step might sound silly to a lot of guys, but a lot of people make this mistake, right? Just simply read and comprehend the question perfectly, right? You need to spend a lot of time in this particular area, right? A lot of people don't read the question properly. They make assumptions on what the question is, right? 50-60% of the time that ends up to be right, but the other time it ends up to be wrong, right? So don't do that, right? So the first step is read and comprehend the question, right? So, and any logical reasoning question has 2 types of clues. One is a direct clue, and the other one is an indirect clue, right? Now what, in the second step, identify those direct clues and indirect clues and try to and that's it. That's the second step. And the third step, first solve for direct clues, right? then uh, then automatically you'll be able to connect the indirect clues, right? This is a 3-step simple process, right? So the first step is a read and comprehend, right? Then you'll go to direct clue and identifying direct clues and indirect clues, and then you first solve for direct clues, and then automatically you can connect the dots with the indirect clues as well. Now this sort of procedure is a universal procedure. For example, if you apply the same procedure to a simple directions problem or a series problem, it might appear very silly. You don't know what is direct clues, what are indirect clues there, right? It's not such a broad problem. But if you look at questions like data arrangements, puzzles on tournaments, etc., which you commonly get, that is where the steps are going to be very useful for you, right? And one very important thing you need to have in mind with respect to logical reasoning questions is logical reasoning, unlike quants, and to an extent unlike verbal ability, especially in the grammar part and everything, is not about knowing a lot of stuff, or not about yeah, it's not about knowing a lot or having a lot of knowledge. It's about having a lot of what we say practice, right? It's about a skill. Logical reasoning is a skill. The skill, you will be only be able to master that skill if you have enough practice towards it. So practice as many questions as possible, right? Now finally, in the next phase, or phase 3, we'll be looking at practicing company based exams. So pick up company based questions. You will know what companies are coming by then to your campus. Obviously, if you check with your seniors, you'll know what companies are coming. Then pick up the previous papers and try solving that, right? So this is the simple 3-step process that would help you. This is a simple 3-step process that we advise to our students. You can use this as a framework to kind of what we say, prepare your plan for cracking logical reasoning, right? Now what we have done is we have asked one of our previous student who has got into New Sigma, right? We have asked her to kind of share the plan with us as to how she prepared for logical reasoning, and this is the plan that they gave us, and this can be used as a reference, right? Right, so what this gives you is the order of preparation, topics, subtopics, right? So order of preparation, obviously I start with coding and decoding first. We have seen in the previous slides already that coding and decoding is a commonly asked topic, right? So under coding and decoding, I have these sections, just solve for them, right? A lot of you might, again, I know this is a very factual presentation, so you might need this presentation. So there's a form which we have, there is a link to a form which we have put up in the description, guys. Please fill up that form and we will send you the presentation. You can use it for your reference, right? Now, so data coding and decoding is the first topic I would work on. Then data arrangement and blood relations. I would call this as a crux of your logical reasoning. If you handle this particular section, you're almost done. Almost like this would also help you in solving other parts, but also this is one of the toughest part when it comes to logical reasoning. So obviously there are linear arrangement, circular arrangement, multi-dimensional arrangement questions, right? These are just like seating arrangements. You sit on a plane, that sort of questions. Then there is grouping and patterns, right? Then there's also mapping and best route. So in grouping and patterns, you are looking at something like an attribute puzzle. They say some person has some X color car, some X color, what we say, he's wearing some X color dress, right? You have to map all of those. So such sort of attribute puzzles would be there. Then also there is something called as blood relations. Blood relations are not really tough, but they need a lot of concentration, right? Then obviously the toughest part of these questions would be this tournament based questions, right? And obviously they are also very interesting. So I hope you enjoy solving them, right? Then data interpretation and data sufficiency is the next part, right? So there are different types of charts, obviously. So we have listed down commonly asked chart types here, right? I hope you know what are data sufficiency questions, right? So otherwise you can find it on our FacePrep website. You can take a look at them, right? So data sufficiency, basically they give you two options, right? You need not solve the problems in data sufficiency, but you'll be basically given two options. You need to understand whether either of these two clues individually or two clues together you'll be able to solve those problems. Whether that data is sufficient to solve the problem or not is what you need to interpret, right? Then you have visual reasoning. These are very small topics, right? Visual reasoning, attention to detail, logical connectiveness and Venn diagrams, clocks, calendars. Again, a very simple topic but a commonly asked topic, right? Direction sense, again a very easy topic. Cubes, image interpretation. Cubes is also a, what we say, it's a single formula based topic. If you know one single formula, you'll be able to solve the entire section. Again, a very easy one. Image interpretation is something that have come this year itself, right? We have enough resources on FacePrep which you can prepare for this, right? So this is a broad order of preparation that you have to go through, right? So right, so I hope you guys had got some useful insights out of it, and I'm pretty sure there are a lot of doubts that you all have, right? So what I'll do is I'll hand over the session to Anton, our program manager, for the next 10 minutes, right? He will have a chat with you guys. Post that, what we can do is whatever doubts you have in these 10 minutes, please post it in the chat box. Then the next 10 minutes I'll spend on answering your questions as much as possible, right? So over to you, Anton.
Thanks a lot, Avinash. So I hope you had a great session, guys. So last week also we had a session on quants, and a lot of you had simply loved it. We had a lot of requests for the BPT. We had, and I'm sure a similar experience today as well. Now, the whole point is, why are we hosting these sessions? There's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to how to go about preparing for one of the most important phases of anyone's life, but especially as an engineer, right? You're just about to sit for placements next year. It becomes quite crucial, because you are spending close to 3 to 4 years of your life, 4 years of your life uh, to acquire a professional degree. And if it does not help you get started with your profession, that leads to all the kinds of problems that you would like to avoid. So while what Avinash had shared with you, now he comes from a lot of experience. What he has shared with you can help you to do it on your own, and it's still possible to do it on your own. Sometimes, when it comes to something so important, that is your placements, right? You are looking to get placed this year. There's no two options about it. You have to get placed this year. When it comes to that, if you're looking for guidance, now guidance from whom? From the very best in the country. So some people you're not quite aware of face prep and the kind of impact we have had in this particular industry over the last 10 years. So we have trained more than 25 lakh students for placements, and most of our students get placed every year. So I'll get into the specifics a little while later. But what I would want to talk to you about in the next 5 minutes, very quickly, these 5 minutes will tell you about a program that we have, which is specifically meant for this. So we are going to handhold, which means that we are going to help students very intensively. So we are going to make sure that every student who comes into this program is going to go ahead and get all the preparation that is required in order to land some of the best IT services jobs. For example, jobs from TCS, Wipro, Accenture. It's not easy to get placed in these companies anymore because of the kind of competition that is out there, right? So our training will help you ensure that you are 100% prepared for this, and you make the most of the opportunity and get placed this year in 2019. So let me quickly, next 5 minutes, talk to you about the program. It's called the Placements Prime program. Now, it's going to help you with each and every step of your placement process, be it your aptitude process, your interview, be it technical or otherwise HR, be it your resume. Each and every part of this will be taken care of. So, in particular, three parts: placement aptitude, programming skills, and professional skills. Under placement aptitude, as usual, you have these three topics: quants, verbal, and LRDI, which is going to be taken care of. About 40 to 45 topics are going to be covered across these three segments. So from a very detailed manner, we are also going to show you question types that are tested by major IT recruiters. So once you understand these question types, not that questions will repeat, but you know what are the kind of questions that come and how to go about preparing for them. So you're completely prepared for any type of aptitude question that comes there. You have shortcut techniques and approaches, which, so what happens is some exams, while the questions are easier, you don't have enough time to solve them. So that is where shortcut techniques and approaches help. You are going to be much faster than others out there, your peers. So it kind of helps you make sure that you're ahead of the competition when it comes to clearing the aptitude round. So speed math also helps over there, and test taking strategies as well. Essentially, at the end of the placement aptitude training, you will be in a position to answer any question that comes your way when it comes to placement aptitude of any IT services company. Similarly, when it comes to programming, we are going to help you with problem solving using C. So you'll understand concepts in C, as well as you will learn how to program in C. Similarly, OOPS concepts in using Java, and you'll be able to code in Java as well. Why Java? Again, Java is one of the most preferred programming language when it comes to the IT industry. And if you are able to, while you can code in any other language, that doesn't matter. If you code in Java, you would probably have an edge over the rest of the competition. And again, data structures, algorithms. So the idea is, by the time you're done with programming skills, right, regardless of which background you are from, you could be from a CSE IT background or a non-CSE IT background. You could be a mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, ENC engineer. Doesn't matter which background you are from. By the end of this, you will have a strong foundational understanding of programming skills, and you'll be able to answer any round. It could be a technical round. It could be a programming and MCQ kind of question that typically comes in TCS. It could be you have to write a program that will also be taken care of. In fact, we will help you understand a variety of coding platforms so that you will be able to write your code and get the output any such platform. Right. Next, professional skills. Now, this is quite the important very important, but a lot of people do not spend enough time on this, right? Just to tell you a few things, a lot of people end up in the last stage of the recruitment process. They will clear the aptitude round, they'll clear the technical rounds, but when it comes to the interviews, that's where they fail, right? Now this cannot happen, right? You can't afford to do this, because if you put in so much hard work, you should make sure that the last step, even at the last step, you're completely prepared. Main part over here is what will help you is the communication skills, right? So if your communication skills are improved, if you are able to handle the interviews well, your group discussions well, any interaction, if you are able to handle that well, even written rounds, if you are able to handle that well, then you can kind of guarantee yourself that job. So that this is overall what we are going to help you with, ensuring that each and every little step, whatever that may be, which is connected to your placements, especially for IT services companies, everything is going to be taken care of to kind of guarantee you getting that job in the year 2019. All right. So moving forward, just a few other details. It's a 6 months online program. So there's close to 400 hours of training that you will undergo. There's a lot of intensive training and comprehensive training. You'll have dedicated mentors. So when you join the program, you will have one person who is going to be always going to help you with your progress. So because it's an online program, some people might feel that you may not be able to complete it. But this mentor is there specifically for that, to help you, to make sure that you're going through the program, to make sure that you're progressing, to make sure by the time you're sitting for placements, you're completely ready to crack any placements that you sit in. So the mentor will help you with any doubts that you have about the program and any guidance, and he will be pushing you. So he'll make sure that you are on track. So this is one of the most important parts of our program. Next, the Face Next platform. Now, what is the Face Next platform? It's an AI-based interactive learning platform. What happens is every week you will get modules to complete on the Face Next platform, and this platform will adapt to your level of understanding, to your level of learning, right? So which means that typically when you sit in a classroom where placement aptitude or any other thing is taught, it happens at the pace of the class. You might not realize this, but what happens is sometimes the class will go very fast. You won't follow anything. That entire 1 hour or 2 hours will be a waste of time for you. Sometimes you'll get too slow, you'll get bored. Right? That is also a waste of time for you. So the main thing is the Face Next platform ensures that you are learning at your pace, not at someone else's pace. Important point when it comes to aptitude, especially when it comes to building a skill like aptitude. Next, we will have a lot of live interactive sessions by Face Prep experts, especially similar to this one, right? And on specific topics. This was slightly broader based. So you'll have strategy sessions like this one as well as very specific sessions when it comes to all of those 3 segments that we saw. Next, you have dedicated doubt clarification support. No doubt. So our policy is that no doubt can go unanswered, right? So any doubt you have, first stop is the mentor. He'll be able to help you out. If that is not happening, then we'll get other experts who will come in to solve any doubt that you have. And one of the key parts of this program, which makes it very compelling, which makes it very appealing, is that it's valid until the 30th of April 2020. We just started 2019, right? And this course is actually going to be valid until 30th April, right? This course, by the way, some questions here. So it will start in the month of February, right? From tomorrow is when February starts. February 18th is when the program starts, right? So just to tell you about how did last year go. So just last year, about 70% of our students were placed with the top 7 IT recruiters in 2018. Let me make it very clear. If you don't know this already, especially when you come to third year, a lot of students don't know this, right? Face Prep is India's #1 when it comes to placement aptitude, when it comes to placement training, when it comes to recruitment training, right? So this is our core value. What we give is this: we help students who are in their pre-final years and their final years to get placed, to get the right jobs that they deserve. This is what we have been doing for 10 years now, and we have perfected the entire art. So if you're looking at actually getting placed, if you are looking at the best result that you want out of 2019, that is a job at the end of 2019, then you are in the right hands if you join Face Prep. This is an option for you. This is something that you can, this program is the best program that we have at Face Prep. First of all, we are India's best when it comes to placement training. And this is the best program that we have for placement training, right? So you have to make the choice. Just to get details about the program, it is worth 25,000. Some people might be thinking 25,000, but think about what is the value at the end of it. This is going to virtually guarantee your placements this year. But anyways, for everyone who's attending this session here, you have it at 10,000 rupees. You can use the coupon place10 to get access to the course. All you have to do is follow these steps. Visit faceprep.in/prime. Click on enroll now. Apply the coupon code that is place10, and you can join, and the program will start from February 18th onwards. If you have some doubts and you want to get it clarified, you can note this down. You can in fact WhatsApp this number right away to know more about it. So I would strongly insist that you do that, because even whether you are going to join this program or not, it is something that you need to take a decision on, right? So make sure that you are, contacting our placement coordinators here, our career counselors here, understand more about the program, and then take a decision, right? So yeah, as I just mentioned, it's rupees 10,000 for the program. Also at Facebook, we believe in delivering more than we promise, and you get freebies worth rupees 17,000 in addition to the whatever we spoke about. So that will include national recruitment test marathons. What happens is, this is a series of live classes just before major marathon, major tests like TCS Ninja and Wipro NLTH. So before that, you will get this. You have GDPI white papers, that is all the GD and PI questions, all the GD and PI questions for major companies we will be discussing, and you will get access to 50 mock tests. This is more than enough practice for the mock tests, for the placements, right? So that's what you get. Now, let me answer a few questions that are coming on the chat. By the way, in case you're interested in joining, right, and want to know more about it, there's a link in the description. Please fill in the link. Also, by filling in the link, you will get access to this PPT. So make sure that you do that before leaving the session. Make sure that you're filling in that form so that you get access to this PPT, as well as you can get to know more about our program. Let me quickly take questions. The question is, what are the timings, right? So Naveen, the timings, what happens is, you can define your own timings. You have to have at least 1 or 2 hours that you dedicate on a daily basis. That's compulsory, because every week you have certain modules to complete. That is going to be your target, your goal for the week. So you'll work with your mentor in order to complete those modules. Every day, if you spare 1 to 2 hours, by the end of the week, you will have tests to appear for. So it's important that you complete whatever is given to you, on the scheduled date. So Naveen, like I mentioned, there are live timings usually happens over the weekends, right? During the weekdays, you can define what time you will be taking up the program, but you have to spare 1 to 2 hours. I hope I made that clear. Another part I would like to mention is, again, for people who are thinking that 10,000 something that you can't quite afford, we have an easy installment plan as well. In case you speak to the counselor and you are convinced about the program helping you in this journey, it will definitely help you. By the way, you don't have to be convinced and all. We have been doing it year on year, right? So, and our success rate is very high. So as long as if you're not able to arrange this in one go, that's fine. You have an easy installment option. You can submit it in two separate installments. So to understand how that is done, you can contact the number that is given over there. So I hope I made myself clear here. If you have any other doubts, you can go ahead and ask. Bhavya, Nuli Bhavya, so the offer has been extended for a while, right? So it had ended 27th, but it's been extended because of a lot of demand that we have got in the last few days, right? So that's why we have extended it for a while, but it won't be there for long. So this rupees 10,000 offer is not going to be there for long. All right. So go ahead and speak to our counselors or if you're convinced already, you can go ahead and make the payment over here. There are steps to enroll. It's up to you. But yeah, do consider this program because it is going to help you with something very, very important, right? It's going to help you with your placements this year. So make sure that you are going through the program and having a conversation with the career counselors. I can see a request for a lesser, more discount. Basically, it's not possible. This is a mentor-led program primarily. There's going to be someone who's going to be with you every single day, all the way till your placements and beyond as well. So you are just going to watch a bunch of videos, right? It's going to help you actually get trained. By the end of this 6 months, you will be in a position where you will not believe the kind of progress that you would have made, right? And you'll be completely ready for your placements. So that is the stage at which we're going to take you. All right, fine then. If you have any other doubts, right? So we'll be answering them now. So I'll hand it over to Avinash now.
Right. I have a few questions here, so let's get started. I had the first question, which was about how do you prepare for ENG logical reasoning? I'm assuming ENG means English and logical reasoning there, right? So for verbal, we will do a session next week again, very similar to what we have done for quants and very similar to this session, right? That should give you an idea about verbal and how to prepare for it. For logical reasoning, like I said, you can use this PPT as a reference to prepare for it, right? Guys, just remember one very simple thing when it comes to logical reasoning. Logical reasoning can't be handled just if you do it 1 week before or just a few days before. You would have to work continuously for it. You need to have a lot of practice. Logical reasoning is a skill. It's not knowledge, it's skill. It takes practice, right? Right. So what are the other questions? Right. One person is asking about the questions that are available in FacePrep. Yes, FacePrep has a lot of questions. 10,000 questions on FacePrep is a very less number that I'm quoting. I think there are a lot more questions on that. So faceprep.in/aptipedia, faceprep.in/procoder are the two links that you could refer to, where you'll have enough placement resources, right? So some Manish is asking question about is this for non-technical placements as well? Absolutely, this is for non-technical placements as well. Like we said, we looked at companies like New Sigma, we looked at companies which are offering a lot of management roles, business analyst roles to prepare this presentation. So especially with business analyst roles, you see a lot of data interpretation questions being on the high. But apart from that, right, this is the heat map, this is the broad framework that you could use. So somebody has asked which company has asked this type of questions. So I'll quickly take you through. This is something we have already discussed here, right? So right, so you can look at here as to which companies have asked what type of questions, right? TCS, Ninja. So company wise, we have done the analysis, right? So each of these questions are asked in these different type of companies. So this is a topic wise analysis in each of these companies. You can refer to this in case you want the PPT. You can just download it from the link, fill in the form below, and we'll give you, right? Somebody is asking, we have an HCL drive on 2nd on next month, please give me your guidelines, right? So HCL, like as far as I remember, it has aptitude, logical, English, technical, and I think in the last year especially they've asked a few general knowledge questions as well, right? But in aptitude, there would be a lot more focus on numbers, right? Time, speed, and distance, and permutation, combination, that sort of questions. If you cover those topics, that should be enough, right? So numbers, time and work, time, speed, and distance, pipes and systems. That is some common topics that are repeated. Apart from that, you can look at topics like profit and loss as well. When it comes to logical reasoning, again, coding and decoding is a major topic that we get, right? In Excel, coding and decoding series, these are the major topics. Apart from that, there is something called as data sufficiency that is common. There is a less of data interpretation when it comes to logical reasoning in HCL, right? And with respect to English, you can look at sentence correction, sentence completion, right? They have some questions on spellings and some basic grammar, right? So these are the important topics that are coming in HCL, right? And as far as I understand, they have an objective test for technical, which is about data structure, oops, some basic DBMS questions would be there, right? So I hope I answered your question, Venkatesh, there about this about the HCL pattern, right? Bhavya was asking whether this would be useful from the basic level onwards. Absolutely, Bhavya. If you're talking about the course or if you're talking about the presentation that we have given, any place that it is about people who are starting to prepare from scratch, right? People who haven't had a look at aptitude so far and then having a look at aptitude right now. This is what it is. You can use this, right? Right. I think you said something is no clarity. Can you please expand on that so we can help you more about it? Just ask national, right? There are a lot of people who are getting the TCS has increased its number of recruitments that it's been doing. So yes, this course will be absolutely be useful for TCS Digital. We have designed the course based on these what we say based on the inputs we got from the exams this year. Chandan is asking, I've missed the quant live session, so what can I do for it? Chandan, simple, go to the Face Prep YouTube channel. You will have the quant session available there, and you can take a look at it. It's uploaded on the website on the YouTube itself. Right? Go to our Face Prep YouTube channel. Right? Uh, right. There are a lot of people who are asking the questions about the video, right? So yes, the video would be available on the YouTube channel, and you can access it, right? Yes, the next question about can I purchase this course? Absolutely, right? I'll just show you the quick instructions as to how to purchase this course, right? Just give me a second. Right. So visit our website, faceprep.in/prime. We have already typed that in the chat box. Use that link. Click on enroll now. Then you'll get the apply the coupon code to get the discount. Right. Right. I think you're not able to see our slide as I understand. Right. Let me kind of just share this once again. Right. Right, just give us 1 second, guys. We'll just share the screen once again, so that I think people are not able to see it. So, right. I hope you will be able to see the screen right now. Right. So yes, you can purchase the course right away. Right. If you have any doubts, you can call our number 9986 888827. Those are our what we say. You can have a chat with our career counselors there. They'll help you out with anything. Right. Upendra, I think I'll ask Andrew to take up this question. It's about how many classes we have to attend in a week.
Right. Also, Marks, the program starts on February 18th, 2019. That is about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks from now. And how many classes we have to attend in a week? So you have a daily schedule, right? So you have to spend anywhere between 1 to 2 hours every day to complete the modules that will be assigned to you. Every day you will have to complete something. Now, sometimes what happens is we understand that you might have exams, right? That is where your mentor will come into the picture. You might have other commitments which you cannot miss. So that's when the mentor will come into the picture and help you understand how to manage your time, right? Either you can skip a few on a few days and schedule it on some other day, right? Or he will be able to understand your schedule and tell you exactly how you can go about preparing for your placements without affecting your other commitments, right? So you don't have to worry as to how a 6-month program will affect your other commitments. I hope I made that clear. When is the next live session going to be held?
Chandan, the next live session is going to be next week. I recommend you to subscribe to our Facebook channel so you'll automatically get a notification when we are going live, right? So this is not the only type of sessions we do. We do a lot of more specific sessions as to each of the logical reasoning topics, right? So it helps you subscribe to our, if you're subscribed to channel, because there's a lot of free information that is available for you, right? So stay subscribed. Mostly we are going to do have a session next week, right? So if you have already subscribed, you will get a notification as to when we are going live, right? But mostly it would be next week around this time, either Thursday or Friday, right? Right, great. So that's about it, guys, from our side. If you have any doubts, you can always get in touch with us using our career counselors. I will just type in the number as well, our career counselors number on which you can get in touch with us. These counselors are not there just to help you buy the course, but they're there to help you make a good decision, or help you guide you in preparing your placement. So don't worry about buying the course or not. If you want to understand how to prepare for placements, you can talk to them and they will also connect you to experts if required, right? So that's about it, guys. Thanks a lot for attending this session. I hope this has been useful 1 hour for you guys, right? This entire session is available on YouTube, and you can always have a watch anytime. If you think it is going to be useful for any of your friends, please share with them, right? So that's about it from our side, guys. Thanks a lot for attending this session.
Thanks a lot for joining, guys. From my end as well. One last reminder: you can go ahead and fill in the form, because that's how we can get back to you. The form is in the description, by the way. That's how we are going to get back to you with the PPT. I'm sure that it's a very useful PPT. So make sure that you get back with the details so that we can reach out to you. All the best, guys. Have a great week ahead, and a great year ahead. Let's hope that a lot of you will be placed this year. Thanks a lot and good night.